1987 Mercury Grand Marquis, a true benchmark in American luxury, a grand name, vinyl top, a proud hood emblem, the most luxurious of all fake wood trim, chrome bits, right engineered suspension, tuned to the softest of settings, AM/FM radio with a cassette deck, air conditioning, premium sound, a digital clock, bed-like seats for long rides, V8 engine with multi-port fuel injection.
For all intents and purposes, Ford's Panther platform was a smashing success. Brought about to downsize their mammoth full-size cars in the 1970s, the Panther cars would prove to be the most successful of the Big Three's downsized full-sizes. Chrysler would leave the market in the early 1980s to focus on their front-wheel drive turbo revolution, while GM would continue to fight until slowing sales in the 1990s led to a fantastic read of the market, just as the SUV boom would hit. The Panther would soldier on due to its basic construction and indestructibility. This is the main reason these cars continued to flood the police and taxi markets, and the reason a 30-year-old car like this is still enjoying the daily driver life. Initially introduced in 1979 as the top-of-the-line trim for the Marquis, the Grand Marquis would become its own model in 1983 as Mercury's line topper. This was due to Ford splitting them entirely, as they would use the Marquis name for a new, smaller, mid-size Fox body-based model in 1983. The Grand Marquis would continue to be Mercury's top-of-the-line model, aimed squarely at the affordable luxury market that Mercury is known for. Fords were entry-level, aimed at families in particular. Mercurys were mid-market, aimed at managers and supervisors, while the Lincolns were, and still are, top-of-the-line luxury, where you boasted to the rest of the block that you, quote-unquote, made it. Power comes from Ford's 5-liter 4.9 Windsor V8 that produces a very malaise-era 150 horsepower and 270 foot-pounds of torque. Proudly advertised on the intake is the new for 1986 multi-port EFI, which had replaced the traditional throttle body the year before. And while those power numbers are laughable to today's standards, it's still a small block Ford. It's a torquey little motor and will move this 3,800-pound behemoth with little trouble. Power is then sent to Ford's sometimes problematic AOD 4-speed automatic. For this one is no exception, because it has no fourth gear. In the back is a solid rear axle, this being Ford's 8.8-inch model that would be in everything from the Mustang to the F-Series pickup trucks. In the front is an old-school coil-in-bucket setup. In the rear features a simple coil spring and trailing arm design. Is this a mountain road carver? Hell no! It's very floaty, and the whole car leans with every aggressive corner you take. The steering does just enough to keep you on the road. This is everything a large American car gets flack for, but it soaks the bumps up well. The soft suspension eats those potholes up like us Americans eat our ring dings. Rough back roads and interstates are no match for this tank of a car. And for an entry-level luxury car, this is exactly what older people look for. Its inoffensive handling keeps the driver feeling quote-unquote safe, and the bump-soaking suspension keeps the rough reality of American roads from affecting aching joints. Problems. Well, there are a few, but that's to be expected of a 30-year-old car. As mentioned before, fourth gear has been non-existent for a while. So far, this hasn't been a major concern for the driver, as this car mostly does small-town commutes. This old car hardly ever gets above 45 miles per hour on the roads it's running on, so a lack of overdrive hasn't really been a major concern yet. The brakes? Not so good. The exhaust is a tad louder than a normal Grand Marquis due to the Wisconsin rust, and the interior body have seen much better days. It received a new alternator in the past couple of years, and it needs new shocks in the back. Bad. But that's what you get with a beater car. The owner, Ken, bought this car for $400. What's even crazier is that the week after he bought this car, he packed it up and drove himself from Wisconsin all the way to North Carolina, chasing his dream job. Over 4 years later, and it's still his daily driver. Like a true Panther body, it's built like a tank and will not die. It's had some minor issues, but those are just burps in the lifetime of a Panther car. It'll probably take another 30 years before this car will finally die. And that's why Ford made these cars for 43 years. They were built that well, and will survive well past the 500,000 mile mark with proper maintenance. They were a callback to an earlier time in American automotive manufacturing, where the cars were designed to last a lifetime and be easy to work on. Honestly, since the Panther line's death in 2011, I can't think of another line of American cars that can say this right now. We'll probably never see a car like this again, and with the ever advancing electronics. These cars justly have a loyal following, and Ford more than earned their praise for this one. I would like to thank Ken of Troutman, North Carolina for letting me use your old car for the video. I love old cars like this. They tell fantastic stories, and this car carried a great one at that. Be sure to like this video and subscribe for the most basic transportation content. Be sure to check out the channel's official Facebook page for updates and news regarding the channel. Thank you for watching.
Some moms. I can lay in here comfortably.